Vocational Aspects of Disability, Chapter 11, Public Service Announcement. Sonia Dotson. Over 5 million working-aged adults are diagnosed with a mental illness. This means that someone watching is either diagnosed, has a family member that's diagnosed, or is a potential employer. In one way or another, we each have contact with someone with a diagnosis. The question is, should someone with a diagnosis disclose that to an employer or potential employer? You may be wondering why this is even a question. There are pros and cons that should be considered by the individuals, employers, and possibly coworkers. One of the things that people risk by disclosing their mental illness is the risk of being denied employment or rejected by employers. There is the fear that they will lose the current job that they have if their employer finds out they have a mental diagnosis. No one wants to be labeled by a diagnosis or a symptom that you have. This adds to the fear of disclosing a mental diagnosis. Stigma and discrimination are other reasons why people don't want to disclose their mental diagnosis. The stigma can come from outside or within. Many people fear that their information will not be kept confidential by employers. This and other fears have brought about interpersonal conflict in the workplace among coworkers. This fear of someone gossiping has kept many from disclosing their mental illness. Looking at the cons only leaves a lot to ponder on. You can understand maybe why someone would be hesitant to disclose such personal information in the workplace. But there are pros or possible benefits to disclosing mental illness in the workplace. Disclosing can help educate others about mental illness. It can also give someone else the courage to seek help for their mental illness. It raises awareness and helps provide possible support, confidence, and fulfillment. If there are accommodations that can be made, they must disclose mental illness in order for the employer to know what accommodations would be reasonable. Without disclosure, no accommodations can be made. For some, disclosing can be way less stressful than hiding or pretending you don't have a mental illness. It also can explain behaviors that might otherwise be looked down upon but are simply part of the mental illness. There are many myths about mental illness. Some of the ones that deal with the workplace are that people with mental illness are not able to work. We probably all work with someone experiencing mental illness problems. Another one is that people with mental illness are usually violent and unpredictable. That is not true. By disclosing, you can diffuse these myths. Open communication between employees and employer on mental health issues can help fight the stigma that surrounds mental illness. I hope through this public service announcement, no matter who you are, someone facing a mental diagnosis, an employer, or a coworker, that you will understand that communication and education are keys to breaking down the barriers that have surrounded mental illness in the workplace.